sort of have this reputation as being this gruff guy, hard on the outside, but soft on the inside. And you had this extraordinary moment in front of the entire world at the 2010 Final Four, when your player towards the end of the game, Da'Sean Butler, a great player, maybe the biggest reason you were in the game in the first place, has this horrendous knee injury right in the middle of the court. And you're bent over him on the court. He's in pain, he's in agony, he's got what's going through his mind, the game, his pro career, and you're cradling his head in your arms, almost like he was an infant. Take me a little bit inside that moment. It was such an intimate moment in the most non-intimate setting possible.
No, I mean, I think first of all, you don't think about the setting. You know, you're concerned about your player. You're not concerned about all the other peripheral stuff going on. I think, you know, the first thing that hit me is, oh no, not again. You know, because I think you know that we had the best team in the country, I think, and Kenyon Martin broke his leg, and here's a guy who was going to be the first pick in the draft, and he's laying there with a broken leg, and I go out, and, you know, Ken's first thing is, why, coach, why, you know, and I'm like, man, I don't know, you know, we're going to do the best we can. We're going to try to make sure everything's okay. And he said, I wanted to win the national championship. I wanted to win a national championship for you. And, you know, don't worry about that. I mean, everything's going to be, but, I was, that kind of hit me when Day went down. And then when I went out there, it was the same kind of thing. You know, coach, why now? You know, I just wanted to win a national championship, you know, for my school, for our state, you know. And here's two guys that obviously are great players. Kenyon did go on, end up being a #1 pick in the draft, and has had a great career. And Da'Sean's had two surgeries since the first surgery, and is now playing again, playing overseas and trying to get his game back. But there's two guys that didn't matter. You know, what mattered was their teammates. What mattered was winning, and winning for the right reasons. Winning for the school that they loved, winning for their teammates, winning for their coaches, and their future had not a thing to do with it. And those are special guys, you know. And then you sit here and you say, why them? You know, why was it them? Why? You know, we've all had some guys who maybe weren't like that. Why didn't they get hurt? Why does it have to be those guys that care so much about other people, that are truly great people, caring, sharing people, the most unbelievable teammates anybody could ever have, the two best teammates I've ever coached. And they both go down with could have been career-ending injuries for both of them.
At a certain level, it's such a privilege to be that guy, to be there for that kid. As horrible as that moment is, I mean, I don't want to over-dramatize it, but it's almost like, you know, a priest or a rabbi who can officiate or guide families through difficult times and tragedies, that you get to be the guy, as hard as that is, who's going to go onto the court and cradle that kid's head in your hands, and you get to be that guy. I mean, I think on a certain level, that's an extraordinary honor and privilege.
Well, you know, I mean, you're a lot smarter than I am, because, I mean, those situations, everybody thinks they know what they would say, and it's a lot harder than what everybody thinks it is, you know. And I think at the end of the day, I think what I wanted to know was I loved them. You know, they were guys that had done everything that was asked of them. They were great teammates. They were great people. They both had come, you know, so far as not just players but people, and I just wanted to know how proud I was of them, and I loved them, and, you know, we were going to do everything we could possibly do to make a bad situation the best it could possibly be. And I don't know, I don't know what else really there is or you could say. And they're, again, people far brighter than I am. But, at some point in time, they probably look at you and say, come on, man. You can dramatize it way more than what it really is. I think the important thing is that they understand how you feel about them, and they understand the relationship and the bond that you have. And it has nothing to do with how many people are sitting in the stands or television or anything else. I could care less, which has probably been part of my downfall, so to speak, with the media, is I really don't care. I'm not. That's not why I do what I do. I don't do what I do to appease the media or to appease certain people. I have an obligation, I think, to those people who play for me, and they're first and foremost, and that's my focus, and that's what I want to do.
And I've often said that there's a special place in heaven for coaches' wives, so maybe with June it's doubly true. Tell me something about you that only she knows.
I think what you said couldn't be any more true. We're gone so much. We try. It's gotten a little better. But when we were married a year, and I was gone 5 days a week, recruiting, scouting, doing all those things. And used to be we'd leave July the 1st and we'd come back the last day of the month and, hey honey, I'm home. And they learned to live with that, and they learned to June, I think, had the greatest line that I've ever heard. A very good friend of mine said, can you bring June over to the house? My son wants to be a coach. He's engaged to this girl, and I'd like for June to explain to her what being married to a coach is. And June said, the best way I can put it, it's like being single without any of the benefits. It's pretty well said.
I feel like I should be interviewing her.
It'd probably be a lot more enlightening.
We marry people who are smarter than us. That's the key to life.
Good to see you.
Bob, great to see you, man. Best of luck this season.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed it.